Hello. Hope everyone's having a good day. Um, Before I start, I want to put some links in the chat. I'm gonna put my Discord link. Um, what else? Maybe I might put some other stuff too. I don't know. Right? If I can find the links. Okay, here we go. Okay. I want to build a Discord server. You can watch me on Twitch or YouTube, but if you want to follow me, do it on Discord. Just join the Discord server. You get all the notifications you need to get. You can mute them. You don't need to get them. But if you want to follow me, do it on Discord. That's the place I'm going to be most active on. As I grow as a channel, that's where I'm going to post the most frequent updates. So if you want to get the most frequent updates about my game, about my channel, about myself, join the Discord server. Right. Just as a recap, I'm developing an auto battler. I'm deciding it's going to be for currently. I'm just making it for Windows, but I have mobile in mind. So Windows and mobile, I absolutely want to have those two. In this very early stage, just to like prototype it, I'm going to make it for Windows only. And then after I'm done with all of those, I'm going to see if Linux and Mac OS is like in my scope and maybe develop for those too. But the game itself is an auto battler. It's a mix of Clash Royale and TFT. It combines the two by taking like the fighting mechanics from TFT, where it's not like there's an objective like in Clash Royale where you have to go and break a tower and destroy a tower. There is still a tower in my game, but it's more combat based. The tower I'm talking about is actually a unit that can move around, and the win condition is to destroy your enemy's tower, and the tower in my game are called sentinels. That's the game. Right now, I'm writing a flow field, a pathfinding algorithm for my units. I actually wrote one. I finished it, then I tested it out, and it didn't work. I don't know if it doesn't really. Actually, I do. I did a bunch of tests. When I try to print out the grid with all the values in it, it doesn't print out anything. It's null. So I want to rewrite everything, but before I do, I want to outline my requirements, what my project needs, more than like creating a generic pathfinding solution. I want to make the solution specifically for my project. So for example, my project is going to have land units and flying units. So that would mean I would need to have 2 cost layers, which means the cost of walking through land for a land unit is 1, and it might increase, but a flying unit has no costs because there's no land. There's nothing blocking it from walking around. So it needs 2 cost layers. So I'm going to add that requirement. 2 cost layers, one of them is land, and the other is sky. Multiple goals. There's obviously going to be a bunch of units on the board in the world, and each unit might target a different unit, so there are going to be multiple goals at once, or in a given instance. At a given time, something like that. What else? I feel like that's it. But also, so I'm making this pathfinding algorithm, but it's not like I won't even need it most of the time because the playing field is going to be it's not going to have any obstacles. It's not going to have anything between the units. The only obstacle between a unit and its target would be another unit. So maybe I can, like, instead of relying on a flow field pathfinding every single time, I can check if a unit has line of sight to its target. And if not, then um, then request a flow field. Because if it has line of sight, then I don't really need a pathfinding algorithm for that. I can just walk straight to it. If it doesn't have line of sight though, that's when I would rely on pathfinding. Give me 1 second. Not then request a flow field. Okay. I've been also, so in my previous one, I separated them into different classes. I'm thinking if that's necessary, if I could just have everything in one class. So with flow fields, there's a cost layer, an integration layer, or they're normally called fields, but I'm calling them layers. It makes more sense to me. Cost layer, integration layer, and flow layer. The cost layer holds for, let's say, surveys the grid. The integration layer scores tiles based on distance and survey. And then the integration layer, or the flow layer, assigns a direction for each tile. So it has 3 fields or layers. I want to somewhat optimize it because that's the whole point of a flow field. I don't want to copy around data and have everyone use separate like instances of the same data, because I calculated it. In the worst case scenario, it takes up 200 gigabytes of RAM of memory. And that's unacceptable. So I need to do some kind of optimization. Nothing clever, just basic, like, okay, instead of copying this cost layer, just use the same cost layer, just get a reference to it. So something like that. That's what I mean by optimization. But yeah, so let's start with our variables. Oh, and then the previous one. So sometimes I used uint, sometimes I used int, and it caused a bunch of like problems because I would have to convert or cast my ints to uint all the time. I'm going to keep that in mind while writing my code. Vector2 int. Right. So a tile, or not a tile, a grid can't have a negative size. For that reason, I'm going to create a struct. I'm going to call this vector2 uint. UI, that doesn't sound good. Uint. Unsigned int vector2 uint. Vector2 uint. I guess that's okay. Vector2 uint. And then public vector2 uint. Or hold on, let me try something. Vector2. Yeah, it doesn't work. Like vector2 uint is the best name. I can't think of anything right now. Anything else right now. But uint x, uint y. And then we can do public x, public uint x, and then public uint y. I was thinking whether or not I should make them like public or something, but this x equals x, that y equals y. Actually, I have another idea. Well, hold on, let me try this. Vector2 vector2. I don't think I can do custom structs, I think I can't export custom structs. But let's try uint x. X dimension. Y dimension. Let's see if this exports. This is not it. Load. Flow field. Okay, X dimension. Oh, that's interesting. It took the old one and the new one. Anyways, X dimension, and for some... Wait a second. Why can this go negative? Okay, never mind. Perhaps I can do vector 2 int dimension. Why is this complete about? It's already defined. There. Okay, vector 2 int dimensions. And then can I do a get set with this? Does that work? So private vector 2i dimensions. I'm going to assign a default value to this vector 2ei 14 by 20. And then get return dimension. And let's check if this if we can edit it in the editor. Why don't we just comment it all? I'm gonna check if my chat actually works. I don't want to miss anyone's comments. So I'm looking at it through OBS. Create. Oh. It shows me offline on Twitch. What happened? Anyways, it shows me streaming on OBS, but Twitch is showing me offline. I'll try to fix that later. I don't know if I did something to break it, but YouTube works. Anyways, let's get back to this. What was I doing? Godot. Let's build the project. Dimensions. Okay, I can set dimensions. Good, because I'm exporting this. Is it? Yes. Okay. So I can edit this, but then later on I can set it using my getSet property. Why was I even doing this? Oh, okay, I remember. To ensure, so value.x. Okay, good. Dimensions equals new vector to I. Then we can do value.x or math. Math.max and then math.max. And then we can do value.x and 3. And can I set a variable here? Const uint minimum size plus 3. Okay. Can I convert from long to int? Max. Okay. Value.y and then min size. And now it should be clamped to 3. Yeah. I think that's good. I don't think would I need min size outside of this property? I don't know, but I can always just remove it, right? And just put it up here and it should work. Okay, yeah. If I need it later on, then I can just take it out of there and then put it outside. And then export private float tile size. Point size. Tile size. I think tile size is okay. I'm gonna call it 1. 1 by default. But it also can't be negative. Actually, I'm gonna try something again. Public override ready. On ready using static Godot GD. I'm going to print my dimension. And then this should probably be hold on, what? What if I do it like this? Does it work? And do this. No, it doesn't work like that. I need to have, okay, I need to define my own field. Anyways, print dimensions. And then I'm going to assign negative numbers here. Or I don't even need to do that. I'm going to assign negative numbers in the editor. So negative 14, negative 20. And then run this. It printed out negative 14 and negative 20. What? It doesn't, okay, the initial value. What if I set dimensions to dimensions? What happens then? 3, 3, what? Oh yeah, that makes sense. 3 is our max or min value. Okay, that works. For that, I'm gonna make a initialize flow field. Initialize flow field, yeah. And I'm gonna call this here. And I need to describe this a little bit because you would not understand why setting dimensions to dimensions is being done here, so I have to put a comment in there. There. And here I can call initialize flow field. Okay. What else do I need? Dimensions, tile size. I need to have 2 cost layers. So I know, like, I'm making the system for my game, and most of the times I should not like design generic systems, because when I start designing generic systems, oh, what if this, what if this, what if that? I start thinking of all of the different scenarios and write code for scenarios that my game will never have. But at the same time, like, I have a game designed, but the design might change along the way. What if I want a different kind of movement that would use a different cost layer? Maybe I should just develop it like this and then change it later on. I'm guessing it shouldn't be too complicated to change the layer. But okay. Let's just say I need multiple cost layers. That means I can have an array. And a cost layer is a number for a grid of numbers. That is all a cost layer is. Okay. And a cost layer, we should have it as a class. Y because there's no need to calculate the cost layer over and over again for each units. So I'm making a public class, calling this the cost layer. And the cost layer has an array, right, an array of tiles. Cost tile. Yeah. Cost tiles for now is a byte array with 2 elements. Or wait. No, that's not true. That can change. I gotta open the door. My cat was knocking on the door. I opened the door and he just stared at me. So I let him go. But cost tiles. And here we're going to have public cost tiles or cost layers. I find the terminology confusing. Cost layer, integration layer, flow layer. Like it makes sense to me, but when I start writing the code and using all of these together, then it like gets me confused. So I'm gonna change the terminology and call that the survey layer. Cost layer. Survey layer equals survey layers equals I'm thinking of a system to use. What if instead of assigning numbers, we assigned what if assigning numbers? We assigned an enum. And then each unit with a different movement style could check those enums, ignore some of them if they want. That might be better for my my game. Because in my game I don't have so much variance in the landscape that I would need 655 whatever different integers to represent them, or bytes, 255 numbers to represent my terrain. Hi Prakar, how's it going? Welcome back to the stream. That makes sense actually, yeah. I'm gonna try doing that. Public enum. And then I'm gonna call this tile type. Tile condition, maybe tile state. Tile occupancy state. Tile state should be okay. Free. Blocked. Land blocked. And sky blocked. Yeah. I know I can use flags to like create, like I have two like free, so I would have to use flags. I have a land blocked and sky blocked, and then I can do like blocked equals land blocked sky blocked or something like this. I'm not going to do that now because I would have to learn how to actually do that, but it's something along those lines. But yeah, here I'm going to do tile state. Tile states. Maybe call the state layer. Tiles. And at the bottom. Now we don't need multiple, we only need one. State layer. States. Or state layer. Okay. Dimensions equals dimensions. State layer equals new state layer. And then let's define the constructor. State layer. Prakar, so how experienced are you? Have you ever done game development? I'm gonna make a static, public static dimensions to dimensions to size. Nice. How I started game development was I tried Unity first and I didn't understand anything. Then I went to Unreal, and Unreal Engine has blueprints, so you don't need to like do all the writing. You just like connect blocks basically. I followed a tutorial. I literally just like opened the YouTube video. I did everything the guy did on the YouTube tutorial, the exact same way, and that's how I got started on making games. Then slowly I like learned how the engine works, how game development works, and then I learned C++. Then I switched back to Unity. I learned like C# and how to do game development in Unity and stuff. And I just, if you want to start, how I started is I just watched the tutorial. So yeah, because it's really hard. Like you can go and read, data structures, but you need like game development itself is a whole different story. It's not just coding. Game development is like 40% coding and 60% designing the game, making art, marketing, whatever. So coding is one part. You need to know how to make the game, but also there's the other side of game development, which you won't see unless you find the interest to learn more about it, more about game design and stuff. There's a lot of resources, very good resources on YouTube about game design and stuff as well. So my advice would be just watch a video, do exactly what he does, and by doing that, you kind of learn the engine. You don't learn the game development, but you get used to the engine. You understand what does what. You understand where to find all of the tools the engine provides, and knowing where you can find stuff will help you learn how to create games. So that's my advice. And it's up to you, but you can focus on one thing at a time. So if you're learning data structures, if you're learning programming, And then if you want to add learning the game engine, learning game development to it, if it starts like overwhelming you, Unreal Engine blueprints, when I first started, it made it so much easier for me to learn like the game dev side of things. And after I learned how to use Unreal Engine, that's when I started learning programming and data structures. But that's up to you. I can name this a better thing. Dimensions. It depends on your confidence with programming. If you're okay with programming, like what you see here, if you're like comfortable with this, you can do Godot. I think Godot would be pretty simple. But if it's overwhelming you, if learning programming, data structures, and whatever engine you want to use at the same time, learning all of those at the same time is overwhelming you, then I think Unreal Engine, you could try Unreal Engine because of blueprints, because blueprints would help you with the programming side of things. Dimensions. What should I name this? Dimensions to tile count. Yeah. Stuff I used to like name my variables and functions like weird names, abbreviations, and everything. Now I'm like, I want it to be crystal clear of what the function does. Dimensions to tile count. I think that's pretty clear. What grade are you? I'm gonna call this flow field unit. Flow field unit, and then public enum unit type. It's like 1:50 p.m. right now. The units can be different types. My state layer holds. Okay, good night. Bye. My state layer holds tile states. Can be free blocked, land blocked, sky blocked. Hi. Bye. Free blocked, land blocked, sky blocked. That was all blocked. Why is this down here? Here. Size flow field. Does the state layer. Okay. Now we need I would rather call this survey layer actually. Survey. Survey makes like surveying the land, it makes sense to me. And then we would do public class. And we don't. Does this need to be a class? It can just be a struct, I think. I don't know. I'll fix it later if it causes any problems. Survey layer. What was I calling the integration layer yesterday? I was taking some notes. Where was I writing it? I don't remember. But survey layer, we want to have a flow layer. And then between these two, we want to have a something layer. The flow layer holds directions. Survey layer holds data about the grid. And the integration layer holds the distances. The cost? No, that would be confusing. Score layer, maybe? I think, okay, score, it makes sense. I remember now. This terminology makes more sense to me because I confused cost layer and integration layer together because they look very similar. And they're basically the same thing. Integration layer is just like the cost layer plus the distance from the center node or something like that. But this makes more sense to me because you survey the land, you survey the grid, then you score each tile, and then you create the flow. I like this terminology better. Yeah. Okay. Well, if I'm gonna have just one survey layer, why should it not be side of my flow layer? Because my flow layer is dependent on the score layer and the survey layer. My score layer is dependent on my survey layer, and my flow layer here is dependent on my score layer. Okay, public survey layer. Survey layer. And I can delete this. I can call this, well, okay, now it's starting to make sense. The reason I have it separate, and the reason I have it here is because it's going to be reused. And I'm going to have multiple flow layers that reuse the same survey layer. Okay. And I can't have, and then I shouldn't have the survey layer inside the score layer because I will also have multiple score layers because each score layer is going to be unique. All right. That's okay. Starting make sense. All right. Initialize flow field. State layer. It's called survey layer. And then new survey layer. Do that. Okay. And we're going to have public flow layer array dictionary. Yeah. A public flow layer dictionary that takes in the flow field unit and a flow layer. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this goals. Yeah. Or should I call it flow layers? I'm gonna stick to flow layers for now. I might change it later on. On initialize, we made a survey layer. Actually, here let me set. Never mind. Here let me set my flow layers. Actually, no, it's a dictionary. I'm not gonna set it yet. Okay, I can make a function then called public void add flow layer. Or get flow layer to unit. And then we would pass in the flow field unit, call this unit. And then it would return a flow layer. And here we would get flow layers dot add, or let's say contains first, contains key. We're going to check if it contains key. And we're checking for unit. And then if it does contain it, we return flow layers unit. If it doesn't, then we create one. So flow layer, new flow layer equals new flow layer. And do we have anything yet? We have nothing. New flow layer, and then we get flow layer or flow layers, and we do add. And we add unit flow layer or new flow layer. Yep. And then we return it. Does this return? Nope. Return new flow layer. Okay. That's done. What now? Survey layer, flow layers. So we have a flow layer. We construct a flow layer from score layer. So we can do public. Well, first let's do this public vector. Yeah, whatever. Public vector 2 directions. It's going to be an array. Directions, and then public flow layer, and we pass in uint layer size. And this is going to come plain now. Yep. We call it you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna remove this private vector 2 dimension. Let's make it public vector 2 I dimensions, and then get and no set. And then what is it complaining about? Is read only? Yeah. Oh, it's exported. Yeah. I don't want to export it. Because it's gonna be 14 by 20 at all times. So let's set that to 1420, vector 2i 1420. There. And now I should not be able to set it. Okay. I could have made it constant. Whatever. Tile size can be different though. I mean, it's not like it's gonna vary during runtime either, so I'm gonna make this also the same way. I can get it. I can't set it. Okay. Tile size. Tile. Tile. Tile size makes sense. Layer length. Okay, I'm gonna use length for arrays. And then size for the actual like dimension of a tile. Or why don't I just use tile count? Okay. Tile count. And is that it? And then here I pass dimensions to tile count dimension. I feel like I can do get private set here. And then get private set here. Get flow layer to unit calls new flow layer. Okay, here we create a new flow layer. We need to pass in our survey layer through here probably. Why don't I just go here and then make a function called public score layer and then build score layer. And then inside the score layer, it would have a similar function, but instead it would create a flow layer. That makes sense. I think it does. So I wouldn't need to pass in anything here. I would... Every time a unit moves, it's going to need to update. Then I would need to pass in my goal. Yeah. Inside this function here, I would need to pass in a goal index. And then again, uint goal index. I could also just say build flow layer and then do everything in here. I can change it later. I would do survey layer dot build score layer dot build flow layer. And into each of them, I would have to pass in. Okay, I would have to pass in my layer length, tile count, my tile count. Tile count equals dimensions to tile count. Pass in my dimensions. And then I put these here. Tile count, tile count. What does it complain about? Can I complain? What? Score layer to flow layer. What? Flow layer. Okay, that fixed it. And then I can probably later on put this in a different function. I don't know if I would need that. I think it's a one-off thing. It's a pretty small class anyways. I probably wouldn't need it actually. And I'm thinking about it. Survey layer, build score layer. This is return new build layer, new score layer. And a score layer should have numbers. I'm going to call this public uint array scores tiles. Tiles. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna call it tiles. Tiles public score layer uint tile count. And here we pass in tiles dot length. I wonder why arrays don't use uint. Unsigned int isn't CLS compliant and would therefore restrict usage of the property to those languages that don't implement a uint. Maybe I should convert my uints back to int. I thought it'd be a good idea to keep them uints because it would not go below 0. Okay, I'll convert them. Here I can do mathematics. Okay, this is complaining. Just delete it. We don't need that anymore. Flow layer public tile state style. Turns a score layer, and a score layer needs a goal. So here, tile count and int goal index. And here I have to pass in my goal index. That should be good. Tile count. And I don't need a goal index now, because it's already implemented. It's already integrated into the score layer. Yeah, here return new flow layer. And I just pass in my tile count. My tile.length. My tiles.length. I don't need to pass this anymore. Okay. Now let's focus on just making the tile the survey layer. Okay, so a flow layer gets requested. A new flow layer gets added. And I just need to update my survey layer inside of my flow field class. Okay. Public. 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 Public set. Whoa. Public void. Occupy tile. Yeah. Public void occupy tile. Which tile? Tile index. Yep, that's it, I think. Okay. Survey layer dot tiles, tile index equals, oh, and then I would need a unit type. Unit type, unit type. I could put this function into my other class here. Public void occupy tile. Probably make this a singleton. Should be okay. Public flow field instance. And then get private set. I can't type private set. There we go. Then on ready. Public void. Destroy if duplicate. Destroy if, what was it? Just use this, I guess. Queue free. If instance doesn't equal null. Queue free. Queue free and return. Else instance equals this, and then actually let's put this in the initialize function. There. Okay. And then we can do flow field equals flow field dot instant. That doesn't work. Why? Get private set. Why does it not work? So I need to make this public. Hello? Why does it not work? Flow field. Flow field dot. What? Flow field instant. Am I crazy? Why is it not working? Probably it's not static, that's why. Forgot to make it static. There we go. Instance. And then if instance, if flow field doesn't equal null. Okay. Or let's do it. If it equals null, return. Then we don't need these anymore because we already have those. And do flow field dot survey layer dot tiles index equals, okay, now we need to calculate it. We can do what's it called? Tile state. Old state. Old tile state equals this. I go crazy. I'm cutting an auto battler. I'm basically trying to make something between Clash Royale and Teamfight Tactics, where it has an objective, like a tower objective, like Clash Royale, but it's more focused on the combat between the units. And right now I'm coding a flow field, which is just like a pathfinding class that's efficient for like crowds of units. So instead of like every unit computing their own path to a goal, I just compute one path for each point in the map, and all of the units use that that grid to like pathfind. So it's efficient for large crowds. I've been working on it for a bit. I've made like a generic gameplay framework I was working on that. I'm kind of finished with it. So I actually started working on the game now. I decided to start with the pathfinding just to like get just to have a map and units be able to walk around and stuff. But I'm working on it every weekday and I'm streaming at 1 p.m. every weekday, so you can follow the development that way. Also, at the top of the chat, there's my Discord. I'll send it again. You can join my Discord and follow me there as well. It's a new Discord, so there's nobody in it right now. Yeah, old state. I'm just gonna do a bunch of statements actually, and I can optimize it later on. If old tile state equals or actually maybe a switch statement would be much easier. Switch old tile state, and then we can do case tile state dot all blocked. In this case, yeah. Yeah, I got an Elgato Wave 3. I don't remember the name of this, but it's like the cheaper Sennheiser headphones. I've been looking at different microphones. I think the microphone I have right now, it's the Wave 3. Doesn't sound bad. But if if my channel grows and more people start watching me and stuff, I might upgrade my microphone. But the moment it gets the job done. Oh yeah, do you like yours? Yeah, it's a really good, was it like $100? I've had mine for a while too. Oh, you're in? Let me go say hi. It's 150. I think for its price, it's really good. It's like there's cheaper microphones out there that get the job done. But this one with the software it comes with, it's a really solid option. On Amazon, it's like 150. Oh yeah, I'm in the US. $150. Okay, if the tile state is all blocked, then I don't need to do anything. Turn. And then if tile state is land blocked, then this equals okay, I can do it like this. If type is unit type dot lan, hold on, not like that. Type equals unit type dot land, then don't do anything. Then tile state dot land blocked, else you can set tile state to all blocked. Give me 1 second, I'll be back. I'm back. I'm also supposed to be streaming on Twitch, but it didn't work for some reason today. Anyways. What is this complaining about? Oh. If it's land blocked, if type is land, then set it to land block. If type is sky, set it to all block. And then case. Probably not thinking of a smarter solution here, but it's okay. Flow field, survey layer. If it's sky blocked, if it's land, we do all blocked. If it's sky blocked and it's sky blocked, then we just do sky blocked. And then last case is tile state dot free. And we can just do type. If it's land, land blocked. If it's sky, sky blocked. Okay, that should work. Occupy tile, index, and type. Right. Let's call this occupy current tile on flow field. Okay, so survey layer done. Now we do the score layer. Okay, now score layer needs the survey layer. Confused. Survey layer. Okay, instead of a tile count, then we're supposed to pass in a survey layer. So I can read from that. Then here. What's going on? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Here, we need to pass in the score layer. Right. And score layer is numbers. How do I convert? Score layer is a grid of numbers. Okay, to calculate a score layer, I need to know the type. Oh, it's confusing. Hold on. What? Score layer, survey layer. There's different types of units. There's a sky unit and a land unit. And they request different types of score layers, but I need that complicates things so much. It actually complicates so much more. have unit L and unit S for land and sky. I have a grid. And these units are positioned like that. And then I have a target unit. They both target the same unit. So they request a flow field. So flow layer, add. So a new flow layer gets created. After a request. Request. All right. Request flow layer gets added. I'm tempted to remove all this and just go with just make it so sky units don't request flow layers. Maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. Maybe in the dictionary, instead of having the units as the keys, I can just have flow layers as the key. Or just have a list of flow layers so that it's unique. I need to leave in a bit. So not many things changed. Actually, everything changed, but not in a not in a crazy way, between the old version and the new version. But still, I like that I redid everything, because now I'm using terminology that makes a lot of sense to me, instead of using cost layer, integration layer, flow layer, or cost field, integration field, flow field. So now I'm surveying the field, I'm scoring every tile, and I'm creating a flow field. So I think it was a good step, and I'm gonna be solo developing this most of the time. So it's not gonna be like I'm gonna have to teach somebody the flow field, how, like, what these are equivalent to in terms of the general terminology surrounding flow fields. So yeah, I think that was a good session. This. So like in the beginning of the video, I explained what my game is, like what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. My game is an auto battler. It's a mixture between Clash Royale and Teamfight Tactics, where it has basically a tower goal, a tower that you need to destroy, but at the same time, the game is more focused on the fighting part. I want to make the game feel like a board game, instead of like you're like so immersed in a first-person shooter. I want you to have either your desktop or your phone open in front of you, and I want it to feel like chess, basically. Where like you don't feel like, when you're playing chess, you don't feel like you're the rook. You don't feel like you're the knight. Those are your pawns. Those are your units. You're playing a game, and it's more about thinking and strategizing, more than being immersed in Twitch skills, if that makes sense. And if you like that game idea, if you like the stream, I have a Discord server. I have a YouTube channel, Twitch, Twitter, and a Discord server. If you're going to join any one of these, join them. But Discord above all. I want to build my Discord server up. I'm going to be most active on my Discord server. I'm going to be posting most frequently on my Discord server. So if you're interested in joining, the link's in the chat. Saying it again. You can just click on that and join the Discord server. Right. Have a good day. I am going to get boba tea. And I'm going to try a new VR game that my friend made. So take care. Have a good day.